I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, bless all those who strive for others. Bless all those who work to make this a better world. Bless us food and fellowship, and bless us each and every one. Amen.
Amen.
I'm going to try a couple of songs, so we'll turn into song number 55, Roll Rotary.
I already know this.
We know
Everybody ready?
Roll, Rotary, roll along, roll along, roll, Rotary, roll along, roll along. One team, onward, upward, together, till at last we reach the heights above. Roll, Rotary, roll along, roll along, roll, Rotary, roll along, roll along. Till all people of the world are
Number 2 is number 80, your grand old flag. You're a
grand old flag, you're a fine flag, forever in peace anyway. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true under red, white, and blue. You're a post or flag. Oh, the greatness we forgot. Keep your eye on the grand old flag.
Thank you.
Hi, very good.
Rick, I'm looking for you.
There you are. Here, would you lead us in some fellowship here?
This is such an exciting day. So many dignitaries in the room. So let's start with the most important one, Frank Shelley. So good to have you back.
Yeah.
You had $1 out. Would you make the trip from your waist to your wallet very quickly today so we can get this over with? Dan Ryan, another of our fine dignitaries from the district. Another $1 for you. Steve Wood, Mayor Wood. We're hitting them hard today. Another $1 from the mayor. Gordon Cloco, you're still a member of the club, right? You're not. It'll be $1 for not being a member. John is beginning to become a more regular member than some of our members, so that's $1. We'll take that. Thank you very much. Judge Taylor, extra $1. We're going quickly today. Well, we have a number of elected officials here today, right? If you're an elected official, Kendall, and anyone else who might be an elected official, could we $1 from you, please? Green, Kendall, you're an elected official, aren't you? You get elected by the Board of Trustees? We'll take that. We'll take that.
I'll take this.
President Dennis? Okay, you're covered. You're covered, Dennis. We don't get change at Rotary. That's the one. Let's play just a little bit of a game about know your Secretary of State. Of course, the end of the game is somebody always pays at the end of the question. So if you get the question right, then I'm going to ask, President Mark has to pay. If you get it wrong, of course, you will pay. Very simple questions. Reed, you're a politician. Where is Secretary Connie from?
I'm guessing, yeah.
That's a good question. I'm looking for something a little more specific.
Well,
Okay.
Yes.
Danville. Right? Okay, we got that. Before Secretary Lawson became Secretary Lawson, what was she doing? Kendall? That wasn't even a hard question for you, was it? Okay. So, Mark, you owe us what? Just keep track. I suspect they will be accumulating. Dean! This isn't really fair. In what year was Secretary Lawson elected to Secretary of State? Thank you. Craig?
Yes.
$1 for Craig. Same question.
Oh.
To this day. Jim?
2011,
That's wrong.
the election.
Right. So the trick part was you were appointed after Charlie White left out of office. Okay, so we have more important things to say than this. So I find the mayor, the sheriff, president of college, and now I get to find the Secretary of State of Indiana. We will gladly take it. How about that, Frank? Have you ever gotten the Secretary of State of Indiana? Have you ever found the Secretary of State of Indiana?
If I was in your shoes, that's the first place I'd go.
I'll take that as a no. What will we do with, yes, President? Shall we go around the room and introduce them?
If they can stand. If you're guests here today, if you can stand, we appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. It seems to about the house.
Would you just briefly, thank you so much for coming today. Would you quickly just state your name as we go around the room?
Nicole Jackson, Kristen Cece,
John Morrison. As you say your name, you can sit there.
James Ellis.
Dan Ryan.
Donna Clafford,
Mayor Steve Wood.
Linda Conley,
My wife Nancy, Lord Foto.
Brad Boza.
Scott James.
Kevin Kelly.
Benny Titus,
Kendall Golf.
Kenny Goff. Thank you so much. Great to have you all here today and enjoying our festivities and our speaker that is going to be here at the podium in just a moment. By the way, Rick, I did have a happy dollar. I went and saw my daughter this weekend, and so that was a lot of fun. And there's my dollar for somebody who got the question right. Thankfully, people aren't overly informed, or I could do a lot more. This is a great day, and we have looked forward to our Secretary of State, Connie Lawson, coming to us for a while. And she was, as was stated a moment ago, she was appointed by Governor Mitch Daniels in March of 2012. She's her first statewide election, I believe, this year. And prior to that, she was going back. She's in Danville, Indiana. She worked for the county as county clerk in 1976 until she was elected to the state senate from her area. Became the first woman majority floor leader in the Senate. And so she is a welcome bit of history here today. So we are looking forward. And by the way, she is She is accompanied today by Matt Rensselaer. Apologies, Matt. He's the constituents, he's in constituent services. When I talked to him a few minutes ago, I said, oh, okay. So if somebody has a problem, apparently you know about it. And he's somewhat the liaison to her office from matters of the constituency. And so, anyway, we want to welcome our Secretary of State at this point. Madam Secretary, if you would come, please welcome her.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm certainly pleased to be here in Jackson County in Rensselaer, Indiana. It's a great treat. We started out this morning from Indianapolis, and we've been to Clinton, Carroll County. We visited your county clerk here. Then we're going on to Griffith High School to do a financial literacy piece, and then we're going to Hartsfield Village to do an agricultural convention. Crown Point to see the Lake County clerk, and then back here in Rensselaer tonight to do the Lincoln Day. So it's a great day. I love, if you're going to be on the road, you should be busy, and so that's why I'm really enjoying today. Well, over the last 2 years, as you can imagine, in that schedule, we've traveled a lot of miles, actually around 38,000 miles. And one of the really neat things about my job is that a lot of people don't know what we do. And so I have gotten to do a lot of really cool things as Secretary of State in the last 2 years. So I just wanted to tell you, just give you a little bit of tidbit of information about some things that I've learned. Honestly, we know that Mayor Steve Wood is a mayor of a city, right? And mayors are elected to cities, but there is one example of an exception to that in the state of Indiana, and that is in the town of Vernon. It's a town. They elect their mayor for a 2-year term rather than a 4-year term, like your mayor is. And the reason they can do that is because they were chartered in 1814, before our state even became a state. So in 1816. So because of their charter, that's the way they elect their mayor. So this year before last, I went down. I helped open the polls, which opened at noon, by the way, and rang the bell for them, stayed for a little bit, and afterwards I kept looking and looking. I wanted to know the results because I had met the current mayor. So finally, I couldn't find it on the web. I couldn't find it anywhere. So I finally called him and said, "Did you win, Mayor?" And he said, "I did. I got 67 votes." So that's the town of Vernon, Indiana. How many of you been to Crawford County, Indiana? Crawford County, Marengo. You've been in Marengo? So you know in Marengo, if you're right in that very small downtown district, it sort of looks like you're walking into the 40s or 50s, right? But there is a place in Marengo, Indiana that actually does a great deal of business, and it's an underground distribution warehouse. It has about 3 million square feet underground. And because it is underground, obviously it's easy to heat, easy to cool. And so in that warehouse, there are 900,000 meals ready to eat that the Department of Defense stores there in Marengo, Indiana, of all places. And the largest fruit company in the United States stores their fruit there, again, because it's cheap, it's underground, it's easy to have a freezer unit there. So the largest fruit company stores fruit there, and they supply all of the fruit to Dana and Gilpin Yogurt, right in Indiana. Not very far from here, I guess it's a little ways, but Elwood, Indiana, the Red Gold Ketchup Factory, you're all aware, is there in Elwood. Well, I had no idea when I visited them that they make 98% of the ketchup that's consumed in the United States. And they make it not just under the Red Gold brand. Other people would call them and say, "Here's our recipe, can you make this for us?" And they would do that. So Red Gold in Elwood, Indiana makes 98% of the ketchup. Well, I've had a great fortune, obviously, to meet a lot of great people and talk to a lot of great groups. But I want to tell you that, truly, the Rotarians are one of my favorite groups to talk to, because I know that you give your time and your treasure and the great philanthropic things that you do here in Jasper County and Rensselaer. It's not just here, it is your community, but it's also internationally. And so I appreciate what you do as Rotarians. So I thought I would just tell you a little bit about the duties of the Secretary of State, because many people don't really know what we do. And I would say our duties are varied. My goal is to have our office to be one of the most open, honest, accountable, responsive in the state. And we get our business done with 60 employees. That's the number of employees I have. We're a very small state agency. We have 4 divisions. We have business services, auto dealers, securities, and elections. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about our goals and some of the things that we've accomplished in each one of those. Well, in our business services division, that's where notaries, public commissions are filed there, uniform commercial code liens are documents are authenticated there, but obviously you know that businesses are registered there, and businesses have to file their business unit reports to stay current here in the state of Indiana. So we have hundreds of thousands of businesses that do that. And over the years, for 185 years, everything was done by paperwork. So if you had something here as a business in Rensselaer, you would have to drive that paperwork to Indianapolis and then wait for a couple of weeks to get something in the mail to know that your business was actually registered. Well, today, Indiana is recognized as a national leader with our website, because you can do that in a day's time. Now, I go to National Associations of Secretary of State, and they all say, well, do you have an expedited fee? Do you have a fee to expedite documents? I say, no, we don't need it, because we do everything that day. So we don't have an expedited fee, but we do take care of businesses expedited way. But I will tell you this, we're not resting on our laurels, and the reason is because over the last 2 years, I've had the opportunity to visit with a lot of businesses, and I don't think we can rest on our laurels. Recently, I spoke with a young woman on the south side of Indianapolis who had been working for several months to open a clothing store. She worked in that area of business for a number of years, and she was really getting frustrated because she knew she had to register with the Secretary of State. She knew she needed to get her retail merchant certificate from the Department of Revenue, but she didn't know about registering with the other agencies. She kept getting notified by agencies like Workforce Development she hadn't thought about. So I just thought, we need to be encouraging entrepreneurs, not discouraging them by the red tape that needs to be filed before they can actually become a business. So, there's been this idea floating around for a while in Indiana about this robust, streamlined portal where businesses could get online and do what they needed to do, and do it in an expedited way. Well, I want you to know that this project now is called Business One Stop, and we really have been making progress. We've got an RFP out the door, and we've had vendors responding to that RFP. So the idea is that a business would be able to do everything that they need to do with state government, all under one portal, all under the same website, all under one username and password. So whether it's licensing, permitting, reporting, whatever it is, they can get that job done. And I'm so proud that we do have vendors in the door today responding to that RFP. And so I think we'll be up probably by this time next year. We'll have the Secretary of State's office, the Department of Revenue, the Department of Workforce Development connected first, and then we'll branch out and we'll talk to businesses and see what else it is they need. But I think we have the opportunity here in Indiana to have one of the most robust, comprehensive portals that any state has had, because other states are working on this as well. And so someday, I think that we can branch out to other state agencies, and we might even be able to branch out to other levels of government so that we can make it as efficient as possible for businesses to do that. Well, the next division is the auto dealers division. So the easiest way to explain it is, if you make a car, sell a car, or destroy a car, you're licensed and regulated through the Secretary of State's office. But it's really not just cars, it's motor vehicles. And a motor vehicle would be defined as an RV, a boat, or a motorcycle as well. So it's cars, RV, boats, motorcycles. So we have investigators that travel the state. We inspect odometers, we make sure titles are delivered on time. We visit junkyards, and we visit car lots as well. So if you purchase a car and you have a problem with the title, or if you think the odometer may have been tampered with, call our office because we can help. Lastly, in auto dealers, the one great, I think, accomplishment that we got finished this right after I was appointed, the paper plates that you have on your car. When you buy a new car, a temporary plate, there's numbers on that. Well, the numbers are significant because that data comes from the Secretary of State's office to the dealer. The dealer puts that temporary plate on your car, but it's connected to the National Law Enforcement Database. So even though you have a temporary plate, law enforcement who's traveling you will know, who's supposed to be in that car. And so that was a significant accomplishment. As Secretary of State, obviously as a former county clerk and a member of the Indiana State Senate for 16 years, I sat on that Senate Elections Committee for the entire time. I chaired it a few years, but I was a member of the Senate Elections Committee the entire 16 years. So it's easy for me to be passionate about election issues. I'm very, very passionate about those. But one of the things I heard as I traveled the state was, look, I go vote. But when I sign in, I always see the name of someone who's been either moved from my area, I know they're gone, they've been gone for a number of years, or maybe they passed away, and I still see their name on the poll list. And I tell a poll worker about it, and the next time I go vote, the name is still there. And so one of the goals that I had was to drastically improve our voter registration list. And so that's one of the things we've done. So, well, we've done two things. First of all, we got funding from the legislature with the legislature support, obviously, from this area. Senator Hirschman and I think Senator Charbonneau comes down here as well, right? Them specifically and your state reps as well. We got $2.5 million appropriated so that we can do a mailing for the first time statewide since 2006. And so if you're an active voter, you'll be receiving a postcard that says, here's your name, here's your address. If it's correct, you don't need to mail it back. But if that postcard were returned to the county clerk's office for some reason, insufficient address, whatever it was, you would receive, or a second mail piece would go out. If that second mail piece is returned, and this is why we needed to have the money appropriated, because it's expensive to do these mailings. If that second piece is returned, then the inactive process for you as a voter would begin. And so that's one thing we did to help the county clerks. The other thing we did for the voter registration list is we joined, along with the legislators' support, we joined a consortium of 28 other states. And so Kansas started this program long ago, and other states have joined as well. And so what we are doing is we are comparing our statewide voter registration database with all of these other states so that and those states include our surrounding states, Arizona and Florida. And so we will know if someone tried to vote twice in the same election in two different states. And we'll also know if someone had been registered here and has moved and we need to move that duplicate name. And so that's what we're doing to clean up voter registration list. Real quickly, I know that Jasper County is not a vote center county. How many of you heard of the vote center concept? Okay, so it's not, you don't have to go vote at your traditional precinct. If your county were a vote center county, you could go any place that you want to go vote in the county on election day. There's no wrong place to go vote. Well, this past session, the legislature passed a law that said that it would be optional, even if you weren't a vote center county, you could use an electronic poll book. So I just want to describe that to you very quickly so that if you would be in a situation at some point in time when you would see that. Well, today, if you live in Jasper County, you go to the vote and you have a paper poll that's right, and the county clerks flip the pages and they make sure that they see where you sign in. Well, if your county is using an electronic poll book, they would check your ID on your driver's license, obviously, but they would scan with a barcode on the back of your driver's license. It would be scanned, and immediately your name and address would pop up on their computer screen, so they would know who you are, where you live, and what ballot style you would receive. You sign in an electronic signature pad, and that signature is captured in the statewide voter registration database so that we know what you are, who you say you are. So that's an electronic way of, we're improving the electronics and the efficiencies of our elections across the state. In 2012, we had 7 vote center counties, and in 2014, we're going to have 16. So the popularity is growing. I don't know how soon Jasper County would become one. I visited your clerk, Vicki Bozell, right before I came. She said they weren't going to do it this year. They'd like to consider it in the future. That wasn't going to be this year. Their main problem was connectivity, because you have to have good internet connectivity. And so that's one of the reasons that they had put it off for a while. So real briefly, The next division that I wanted to talk to you about is our securities division, and that's the message that I really want to leave you with today. You know, as a securities division head, we license and regulate securities professionals, and that could be a financial advisor, a mortgage loan broker, a franchisor, a collection agency, or a continuing care retirement community. And so we license and regulate those folks. And you and I all know that 99.9% of those people that work in the area are great, honest, reputable people. But unfortunately, there are a few that would rather steal somebody else's money than to earn their own. And so one of the things that I do as Secretary of State is I travel the state and I talk to individuals. We're going to be visiting that senior community that I mentioned today at Hartsville Village. We're going to talk to them about elder fraud and the questions that they need to ask. And I always tell them, look, I'm not here to make you afraid to use a financial advisor. I use one myself, but you just need to be aware. You need to be aware of the questions to ask, and you need to be aware of the red flags that you might see that would warn you that this individual may not be honest and reputable. And then we also work with high school students. And our message has been received very well. And we talk to high school students about budgeting, saving, prioritizing their spending, credit card debt, and how that can, make you get a good credit score, or if you paid it off, or if you didn't, it could hurt you for a long time in the future. So that's our message to high school students. So I just wanted to leave you with the message today is, 41% of Americans, or 92 million people that live in our country, have given themselves a grade of C, D, or F as far as their personal finance knowledge goes. And so that's not good. And most of us learned our financial prowess from our parents, right? But only 34% of parents have even talked about to their high school students about balancing their accounts, and fewer have talked to their high school students about credit card fees and credit card debt. So I would, my mission as Secretary of State is to increase that. I want everybody to have an A in the knowledge of personal finance. And so if we increase that, I need your help. So I want you to help me. I want you to talk with your kids and your grandkids about personal finance. Start with budgeting, start with saving, and if you need more help, get on the website at our office, IndianaInvestmentWatch.com. We have all sorts of free resources that you can use to talk to the young adults in your life to help me on this mission. And it's free, it's paid for, not with taxpayer dollars, it's paid for by the fines that we collect from people that violate the securities laws. And so I would just leave you with this, and that is, it's never too soon to talk to kids about money. And so I hope that you will help me on this mission of personal finance knowledge across our state, because we know that if you learn good money management when you're young, then when you get older, you don't have the financial stresses that might make you think that a get-rich-quick scheme would be helpful. And so thank you for your attention. Thank you for having me here today. It's great to be in Jasper County, and I will be back tonight in Rensselaer giving a keynote at the Lincoln Day dinner. So thank you all so much.
Madam Secretary, before you're done, does anyone have any questions here? This is your opportunity.
Is there any report on the voter ID cases?
On the voter ID case, the other states that are trying to have the same photo ID law that we have. Well, most people don't understand this. Indiana was able to pass a law. We were able to pass that law that became law immediately because we're not a Section 5 state. By Section 5, I mean in the 1965 Voting Rights Act, there were states who had a history of discriminating against minorities. Is this still on? Yeah, it is. So if they were a state that was a Section 5 state like Texas and Mississippi and some of the others that have had a problem passing that photo ID law, if they make an election law change in those states, they have to get it passed by the Department of Justice. So that's why they're having the trouble. Our law was upheld at every level, went all the way up to the United States Supreme Court, and it was found that it did not discriminate or unfairly cause a voter to go to a lot of trouble to get a photo ID. Our BND has given hundreds of thousands of free photo IDs since we passed that law in 2000 and I think it was 5. Could have been 2003. Other questions? Well, we're supposed to be in Griffith High School and we need to be there on time, so I'm sorry, I'm going to have to head out right now. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate our Secretary of State taking time coming over here and appreciate it right with her busy schedule. As we close out today, we have our drawing and actually $108 and Chris, would you draw a card and call up the number?
745.
745. Oh, that's me. Let's not turn out to be.
Yeah.
This goes, by the way, the monies go to our foundation, which helps in charitable projects around the world. One of the primary things, and one of the things that why Rotary began was to fight polio, and it's found that polio has almost been eliminated in the world. I think there's, was it like 3 countries left, something like that, that even have a report, only a handful of people in the world anymore, which has been a very a great project, as well as clean water projects around the world. So this is not just a little fun thing, it contributes around the world each time that we invest in this. So anyway, I want to thank you all for coming. I'm going to ask that we stand for the our closing here. Four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Is it friendship? Is it beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Glad you guys could be here.
Thank you.